Welcome everyone interested in cryonics. I recently discovered something about cryonics that honestly made me very upset. Two cryonics companies started 14 years apart with completely different resources, but after 6 years they achieved almost the same result. So I decided to compare the first 6 years of these companies, and when I saw the numbers I couldn't believe it. Let me explain how I discovered this. As you might know, one of these companies, Tomorrow Bio, recently celebrated its 6th anniversary. And I know, guys, time flies so fast, I didn't expect it to be 6 years old already. I was just casually reviewing their website, looking for, something new, maybe for some event. And as usual, I came across the statistics on the main page. And I was really impressed, like, oh my god, 1000 clients. No one in cryonics has done so much. Tomorrow Bio did such a good job, it grows so fast. They performed 20 cryopreservations, actually at least 26. They preserved 10 animals. And meanwhile, I was working on a video related to KrioRus, a second company that we are going to discuss in this video. So I was researching their cryopreservations. They have a list of cryopreservations on their website. Pretty convenient. And I noticed they did quite a lot of cryopreservations in the first couple of years too. Then I counted them, and in the first 6 years they did 21 cryopreservations. And then I realized something strange. Are you telling me that a company from Russia, which started 20 years ago with a much worse starting position, did the same job as a modern multi-million-dollar company? So I decided to compare the first 6 years of these companies, and this is what I got. KrioRus and Tomorrow Bio. Both organizations present themselves as not-for-profit organizations, but they are actually companies. Therefore, they have no growth rate limitations, unlike non-profits in cryonics. This is important and this is great. KrioRus was founded 14 years earlier than Tomorrow Bio. Their team was weaker because most of the people were volunteers who worked occasionally, from time to time. At the start, some of KrioRus co-founders donated equipment. One co-founder lent his land with a storage facility. Basically, one of the KrioRus co-founders sold his real estate and they used his money. I'm not sure about Tomorrow Bio, but judging by their expenses, they probably started with at least hundreds of thousands of dollars, at least. Let's talk about additional funding, like investments or donations. Well, here is a website saying that Tomorrow Bio has received more than $8 million in investments in 6 years. It's not so clear about KrioRus. While preparing this video, I talked a little with ex-employees of KrioRus, googled some information, and all I found was a mention of 2 donations totaling $175,000. Actually, I was told that there was a big transhumanist community in Russia back then, and there were quite a lot of rich people in this community. However, most of them didn't take cryonics seriously enough and didn't want to invest in it. And I think it's safe to say that the attitude toward cryonics was not good back then. I mean, if transhumanists did not take cryonics seriously, what can you say about regular people? And when Tomorrow Bio was founded, I was actually talking to regular people about cryonics a lot these days, and I would say the overall attitude toward cryonics was already pretty good. 14 years of futuristic movies, video games and YouTube videos really helped improve it. And not only that, when KrioRus started, in Russia and nearby countries there were maybe tens of existing clients from other organizations like Alcor and Cryonics Institute. When Tomorrow Bio started, there were already hundreds of clients in nearby countries, including those from KrioRus, so they had a good opportunity to lure some of clients away. Look at this huge difference in resources, especially money, and they still have approximately the same result. I'm just speechless. I really expected Tomorrow Bio to do better, at least better than KrioRus, you know? Before I continue, what do you think about this comparison? Is it fair? Take a look at this table. Maybe I should add something. What do you think? I predict that many people watching this video will point to the number of members, like they don't have many cryopreservations, but hey, look, they have more than 1,000 members. Nobody has gained so many members so fast. Tomorrow Bio is a leader in growth rate. Well, I guess I should add this to the comparison. The thing is, almost all of these members have cheap insurance contracts. Probably most of them make annual payments of 500 euros per year, and 1,000 clients means €500,000 per year. It might sound impressive until you realize it's just the payment for 3 cryopreservations, and if Tomorrow Bio prioritized cryopreservations, they could do much more than this. The second expectation from those insurance clients that after a few decades all these young people will get old, start dying and pay huge amounts of money to the company. And the thing is, most of them will not, because paying 500 euros a year is okay when you are young and healthy, but earning an extra 200,000 euros during your lifetime is a totally different story. But this is not even the main problem. The problem is that without many cryopreservations and solid income, the company does not receive reliable profit and has to ask for more and more investments. And for each investment, they have to give away shares of the company. So, right, after a few decades, they will receive a lot of money, but then they will have to return all this money to investors. So I would not overestimate the value of these insurance contracts. It is good that they have them, but the number of cryopreservation is the most important indicator of a company's success. So let's go back to our cryopreservations. Why did this happen? Why did a poorly funded volunteer organization achieve almost the same result as a modern, well-funded company? I think the answer is strategy. The thing is, when KrioRus started, the private health insurance industry in Russia was almost dead, historically. There was no private health insurance in the Soviet Union, so everyone was used to paying doctors out of their own pocket. And KrioRus, without a tool to work with young people, without insurance contracts, had to work with old people instead. So they maximized their efforts to work with families of those who had recently passed away and those who were likely to pass away soon. For those families, they publicly offered convenient payment methods. So when someone makes an emergency call and says, "My relative just died and I want him to be cryopreserved," normally that person does not have $36,000 in their pocket. Welcome everyone interested in cryonics. I recently discovered something about cryonics that honestly made me very upset. Two cryonics companies started 14 years apart with completely different resources, but after 6 years they achieved almost the same result. So I decided to compare the first 6 years of these companies, and when I saw the numbers I couldn't believe it. Let me explain how I discovered this. As you might know, one of these companies, Tomorrow Bio, recently celebrated its 6th anniversary. And I know, guys, time flies so fast, I didn't expect it to be 6 years old already. I was just casually reviewing their website, looking for, something new, maybe for some event. And as usual, I came across the statistics on the main page. You know, you always see them on the main page. And I was really impressed, like, oh my god, 1000. Welcome. Welcome everyone interested in cryonics. I recently discovered. Welcome everyone interested.
We're generally open to work with everybody who's local, also if they're funeral homes or embalmers. The thing that we do not work with anybody that is not trained. So even though I'm a doctor, I feel like, it's absolutely possible to train these procedures to literally anybody.
Welcome. Welcome everyone interested in cryonics. I recently discovered. Welcome everyone interested in cryonics. Welcome everyone interested in